And we are back. What's up, everybody? Kyle, Better Chat Project. If you remember, been a couple months now, but Michael Rock is back. Super thankful to have him. I was, as soon as I messaged him, he was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. We were actually just talking about something and decided to just jump right into it, I guess. It's just kind of like the reason this podcast even exists, before we get into more of with him and everything like that, because if you do remember the episode, you know him already. If not, I'll post the link to that episode. But like we were kind of just talking on that mental health aspect of, like it's kind of like the brave thing to be that guy that, like you said, like cries at movies. Like, dude, I was watching, what was it? Love of the Game, Kevin Costner movie where he's the Billy Chapel. He's a pitcher for the Tigers. Played there for like 16 years, and it's like his whole life story while he's throwing a no hitter. Individual, I'm fucking crying like a baby,
Yeah.
And it's just like, what's wrong with you? Like, nothing's wrong with you, man. Like you're in touch with your shit, and it's okay to be that way. People will make you feel like you're not, though, and that's what I think is where you said like that taboo, like that tough guy shit comes in.
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid to admit that, when they're struggling with stuff, they're going through some stuff mentally, and you know, uh, I mean, afraid to show emotions, afraid to cry or whatever,
Or afraid to
and
just be legit pissed off, or
or
like
pissed off, or
vulnerable.
yeah,
I think that's the biggest
open
one,
up.
is because when you're out there, you're exposed, man. And it's definitely something I've been real big with my wife, and she's been real great with me, is like being able to be comfortable being out there, because it's like it's okay to be who I am. Like I'm a I go. It's like I'm super passionate. I like to say like my fire burns hot for everybody I care about, but like also in the other direction, if I don't care, I just don't care.
Yeah, so one of the things I do at my job, so my full time job is I do forensics in basically child pornography cases. You
Right,
know, I go,
superhero shit.
yeah, I go through and I find the worst of the worst on these guys' computers and cell phones and stuff like that, and I have to look at some really bad stuff. But another thing that I do, because I was asked to do it, so I gladly accepted, is I'm what's called a peer support member. So I make myself available to the guys in my office, guys and girls in my office, and then I also will travel the country if something happens within my agency. Like there's like an officer involved shooting or somebody dies or whatever. And then another part of that is I'll organize mental health days for other offices. For example, a few months ago, I went to Salt Lake City. I'm
Hmm.
out of Reno. So my partner and I, we drove up to Salt Lake City and I took folks on a mental health hike. It's just a 2 mile hike. And at the mile mark, at the turnaround point, that's when I gave my briefing about what I do and what kind of services are available to people. But I don't just talk about, your basic cookie cutter stuff. I put myself out there. I talk about my background, right? So I go out there and I say, hey, my name's Mike, a little bit of background about myself. I'm a retired Special Forces Engineer Sergeant, also known as Green Beret. And some things that you folks may not know, I've dealt with, substance abuse, divorce, depression, survivor guilt, stuff like that. And then I'd let them know that I'm willing to bet some of them have been through the same thing or very different things, very emotionally taxing things. And I let them know that it's okay because I'm there for them if they need to talk and get stuff off their chest and everything like that. And it's okay to show their vulnerabilities and the things that really affected them in life,
Right.
because a lot of times people don't want to talk about stuff, especially if you're like in law enforcement or something like that or the military, because everybody thinks if I open up about myself, if I open up about my issues, I'm going to get kicked out. I'm going to lose my security clearance or I'm going to get my badge and gun taken away and yada, yada, yada. And man, that happens, but it's extremely rare, like
Hmm.
extremely rare. The fact of the matter is, like these agencies and organizations and stuff like that, they just want their people to get better. You know,
Right.
you could be the fittest dude in the world, the best shot in the world, but if your brain's all messed up, then you're not fully mission capable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So these people, the higher ups, they take this mental health stuff seriously nowadays. You know, and they want folks to go in and talk about their issues and stuff like that, and it's a good thing. You know, so people know that they could turn to me to talk to, get stuff off their chest. If I find that by talking to me, they actually need more help, I get them free help. You know, link them up with counselors and therapists and stuff like that, so they can get that stuff off their chest, and we can work through those issues, so they can get right in the head, and they can get back into the fight. So mental health is that's a huge deal for me, man.
Yeah, it is huge, and I bet I'm just gonna circle back to what you said, like when you gave your briefing to the guys on the walk, right? And I bet like a lot of them, when you said like you know, a lot of them probably have gone through the same things. I mean, even you said, you know, substance abuse, check, divorce, check. Let's see, you know, survivor's guilt, maybe not as much as you, but check. I mean, it's there. You think about that kind of shit in any
Yeah.
situation, and then like you know something notice about it is like that pain is it's like a glue, you know, like you almost by putting yourself out there like that, you're like, you know, this is me showing you exactly who I am, what I've been through, and then and not in a way to be like, if I can do it, you can do it, but in a way to just be like, yo, I've been there and I'm willing, you know, to show you what I've done to help get through these situations or you know, like you said, just link you up to the right people and probably not just like, here's
Yeah.
a card, go call this guy, but like, no, I know this dude personally,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
gonna be the one
Exactly.
to take care of you for this specific situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we'll actually talk to the guys that we're gonna link them up with. You know, we become friends, and you know, like a handful of months ago, I deployed to Miami because something happened. Like an officer, he died suddenly. So we had to go speak to the offices that he was affiliated with, spoke to his family and stuff like that. And then one of the main guys that we link folks up with, he deployed as well. So we got to spend some time together and everything like that, figure out his personality, you know, and we have multiple people because it's not one size fits all as far as the mental health game is concerned. You know, so
Hmm.
some people will step up and be brave enough to admit that they need some help, and then they'll seek out some therapy, and they won't really mesh with the therapist, and because of that, they won't go back. You know, because they're like, oh, this therapy stuff is stupid. I wasn't comfortable. It doesn't work. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Man, I'm willing to tell you, you need to try the different shoes on. You know, you got to get the right fit. Because
Yeah. It's almost like what we
me,
were talking about with this podcast. Like it just, you just got to do it till you find what works
so
for
you
you. Cause it's
find what works
definitely
for
not
you.
one size fits
Exactly.
all, man. Everybody's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. You know, I went through like I tried the group therapy thing. Freaking hated it.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, I tried a
I
couple
support
different
it
therapists
if
after
that's your
that.
thing.
Yeah, if it's your thing, man, that's cool. That's cool. You know, whatever works for you. You know, but whatever works for you might not work for me. So
Yeah.
I tried the group therapy thing. It didn't work for me. I tried a couple other therapists, didn't like them, and then eventually I found someone that I really liked, that I connected with and I could talk to and stuff like that. So just trial and error. You know, don't give up. If something doesn't work, hey, it's
Yeah.
like
Sometimes
it's like if you try some food and you don't like it, well, you don't stop eating food, right?
you gotta fucking eat.
You got to
You
eat,
gotta get
man. You
better.
got
You
to
gotta
eat.
get better.
You
You
got
gotta
to
eat.
eat to survive, you know. And in
Right.
this case, some people they have to get therapy in order to survive, you know, to get rid of those demons and find ways to control those demons and stuff like that. So, you know, if you don't like the taste, go to somebody else.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, it's shit in this day and age. You could scroll, I mean, just hit like mental health. I mean, shit, just be around someone talking about their mental health and then scroll through TikTok. I guarantee you there's going to be 30 different ways in the first 10 minutes to engage in something different. If you're looking at the right TikTok, you know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
can be helpful if you say the right things to your phone.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like shit, it just like mine's like filled with like disc golf and hiking and you know, like disc golf to me is huge because that was like the one thing when I was really kind of when I was living in Colorado before I met my wife, and I was like just working all the time, and I was just kind of really down because I was starting to like miss being home and starting to think about moving back. And I started playing disc golf again. And I started like getting connected with people, and I think that was huge too. Just like finding a group of people that was that felt like that was excited to see you every Thursday night because it was Glow, and they're like, "What's up?" Like, "Oh, you're here, bro. Let's smoke
Yeah,
and fucking throw some
yeah,
frisbees." And then next thing you know, I'm like, man, that is like my go-to. Like I just went and played with my wife and kid Sunday. It's just
yeah,
something we like to do. And it's not for everybody, but it also can be. It's just get outside and
yeah,
get that fresh
yeah,
air in you, man.
yeah, yeah. You like it, man. You like the disc golf. It helps give you balance,
Hell yeah.
and that's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing as far as mental health is concerned. I see a lot of people they'll hate their job. They'll always complain
Mm,
about their job and stuff like that, and they'll go home and how they balance themselves out is they'll drink some beer or something
mm.
and watch TV, and not really have any extracurricular activities that have nothing to do and are the complete opposite from what they do for work. So I encourage people to find something completely different from your job or completely different from your stressor, whatever is
Yeah,
giving you
like a
stress in
hobby.
life. Yeah, find a hobby,
Fucking
man.
whittle
Go
some
out there
wood
and
on the
do
front
something.
porch or something.
Yeah, because like my hobbies are completely different from what I do for work. Go hiking or acting and stuff like that. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
I do want to talk a little bit, since I know we'll always be the talk about the mental health stuff, but definitely I know people are probably a little interested or will be interested in more about your day job. I guess we'll talk about for a little bit,
Mhm.
um, and if you want to explain what that is, the pedo hunter, the superhero shit.
Yeah, so I'm on what's called the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. It's comprised of local law enforcement, some three-letter agencies, stuff like that. And I'm with one of those three-letter agencies. And what we do is we find people who are downloading and uploading child pornography. And then once we get enough evidence on that person, then we get a search warrant. We go hit that person's house, and my role in that is once the scene is safe, then I come in. So,
And you're basically like
so
showing the dude like all the receipts that you got. Like, oh yeah, no, you did
yeah,
it. Like you're fucked
yeah,
now. There's no like, I think I can get out of this. And like, no, you're completely
exactly.
fucked at this
Yeah.
point.
So it's funny because the guy with the most training with weapons and stuff like that and combat,
Yeah.
I'm the only guy on scene without a gun.
You're like
because
walking in like, hey man, point your shit that way, like
yeah, because yeah, because how I got my job, I got recruited to this job through the Hero Corps, Human Exploitation Rescue Operative Corps. And actually, if you're a wounded or disabled veteran and you're looking for a career change or a new career out of the military, look up the Hero Corps, because I believe they're recruiting in this December. So if you get that, then you do a 10-month internship, and then you get brought on with a federal agency, and it's non-competitive. It's non-competitive, man. So if they like you after 10 months, then you just accept a job offer, and then boom, there you go. You have a federal job in law enforcement,
that'd be dope. I'd
and
have to quit smoking
and
weed.
it's an amazing thing, man. I've been doing it 9 years, but it's very taxing. So we'll get back to what I was saying.
Hmm.
So I'll go in there once the scene is secure. I'll get the computers and the cell phones and stuff like that, and then I'll take them back to my lab, and I'll go through them with a fine tooth comb, and I'll find all the illegal pictures and videos and search history and chats and stuff like that of the suspect, and then I'll put everything in a nice little package. And everything I'm doing is of unbiased opinion, strictly professional. I'm not trying to go in there and say like, oh, well, I don't like the look of this guy, yada yada. None of that. Like, I have no opinion on this stuff whatsoever. I am strictly getting the facts. What am I finding on this computer? What am I finding on this phone? and then I'll put it in a nice little package and make my report. And then one thing I do in my reports, I find like the 3 or 4 worst pictures and 3 or 4 worst videos I could find, and I'll write in graphic detail what I'm seeing. So when that stuff gets read in court, people don't downplay it. People see it for what it is. So when
Yeah.
that stuff is read to the jury's like, wow, okay,
Yeah, like
okay,
no brainer, slam dunk. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
that's gotta
then
be said, like that's gotta be fucking taxing on you, man.
it is, man, it is. And I was struggling for a long time because I went from door kicking action guy, I was an 18 Charlie, special forces engineer, hunting down Taliban and stuff, kicking in doors, to literally sitting at a computer all day watching babies getting raped. And that's freaking rough. Man, that is
Yeah,
rough,
dude.
you know. So so at first I struggled a lot. I started taking antidepressants and all sort of stuff, and my everything started changing in me. Right, I started becoming very, very angry, and so that's when knew I needed to kind of find some balance in life, something that was completely opposite. Because I would come home from work and I would lock myself in my room for like an hour before I even talked to my kids. So I
Yeah.
needed to change, and eventually I was able to find balance and find hobbies and stuff like that. And then once I found that, then I was able to kind of reevaluate my life and see where all the bad things led. All the bad things that occurred in my life led to the good things and stuff like that. And so, I live a good life now. My mental health is pretty good. Uh, I still struggle sometimes when I have to look at that stuff. But after 9 years of doing it, thankfully, I recognize when it's time to step away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
Like
I
your
had
cup's
a,
running over. I need to take you gotta take a day off, or like take a just like, yo, let me turn this down and maybe just write something for a little bit, or
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so actually, so 5 months ago, I had a lift surgery and a spinal fusion.
oh
So
yeah, you did tell me that
yeah,
last
so
time.
they just did a whole bunch of stuff to me, right? So I was out of work. I was out of work for 7 weeks. Thankfully, over 9 years, I had saved up so much sick leave. I was
Yeah.
able to take all that sick time, and I didn't realize just how bad this job affected me until I went back to work and I started working on that case again. And I was like, wow, this freaking sucks. And so that's when I started to take mental health stuff even more serious than I already was. So I started asking around, asking the commander of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force about what kind of mental health stuff they have, and basically, so how it is now. So me and my partner, who I've been with for 9 years, if we're ever struggling, we can get mental health, but we don't even have to use my agency. Like we can use those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can go outside of my agency and straight up just go walk upstairs. Like I could go walk upstairs to the mental health specialist who was Army. He was 82nd Airborne.
That's always nice.
So yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
always
So
got that comfort level with them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you got that common ground there and everything like that. So it's super cool to talk to, real easy to talk to, understand some of the things that I've been through when I was in. So yeah, so it's very important to me now, man, and I'm able to see when it's really affecting me and when I need to step away. Sometimes I'll go into work and I'll work for 2 hours. And I'll be like, all right, that's it for the day. Going home.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's how it has to be. Like I can't like this job, the job I do, it can't be a 9 to 5 job because if my job was a 9 to 5 job, I'm telling you right now, bro, I probably would have ate a bullet a long time ago.
I mean, it's a lot to even think about, man. I couldn't imagine,
Yeah,
having to scroll through that shit. And I mean, we talked about it last time. I was like, man, that'd be a cool job. Not cool job, but like that'd be like a very satisfying job because you feel like you're really getting rid of a very fucking evil thing in the world and helping out. And like you said, like there's not a lot of people out there doing it.
yeah,
I mean, there is, but like the percentages aren't there, right? Like it's a losing battle
Percentages
because
yeah, it's a losing
for
battle.
every one you
It's a
take,
losing.
there's probably 100 more out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that you said last time something about like you do like you link up with schools and stuff and do like educations and trainings
I
on
do, yeah.
what
So
to look out for as a kids or as parents and stuff like that.
yeah, so a couple years ago, again, this job was really starting to weigh on me. So I was like, you know what? I need to work myself out of a job or attempt to work myself out of a job. I know that'll never happen because this stuff is just gets worse and worse, right? So I was like, all right, let me instead of doing a typical law enforcement thing where we're reacting to an incident, let me make it so the incident doesn't even occur. Right. So I started going to schools and going to people's houses as well, doing online presentations for folks, whoever wanted it. And I would teach about, advanced online safety, how to watch out for people grooming you and what can happen on the internet and what not to put out there and stuff like that.
So for those that don't know, I'll interrupt you for a second. Grooming. I know you talked about it last time, and it was just funny because not funny, but I had listened to a podcast that was similar to this, the RO app, I think it's called. Those guys were on the Dad Edge. I think it's an app that basically like you can have on your phone, and it's across all your kids' stuff, and you basically protect them from all this shit. But
Yeah.
grooming, talk like tell people what that is. That may not know what that is, or and then how
Yeah.
they do in their kids.
So grooming doesn't necessarily have to be of a sexual nature. It could be like from a financial nature and stuff like that. So grooming, all right, say I'm one of those bad guys, right? Say I'm one of those monsters, one of those pedophiles, and I start talking to a 15-year-old girl, right? I learn everything about her. I start talking to her, and I ask her what her favorite band is. Well, her favorite band becomes my favorite band. She tells me her parents are getting divorced, and I say, "Well, my parents are getting divorced, so if you ever need any help, I'm there for you," stuff like that. Basically, it's getting in the mind of somebody, getting someone to trust you, right? Getting someone to trust you for malicious intent. You'll have these guys that don't want to send kids cell phones. Hey, I'm gonna send you this cell phone, so give me your address. I'm gonna send you the cell phone. Make sure you don't tell your parents because they won't understand our relationship. I love you.
That's fucked up.
Don't tell your parents you have this cell phone, right? And these kids, they're like, oh wow, man, this guy's gonna get me an iPhone 15.
Right.
What? Hell
Right. Like,
yes.
ooh.
Hell yes. And so they'll take it and they'll accept it, right? And so now, well, now that pedophile has their cell phone, has their location and all sort of stuff, has the address, and basically they'll just gain all this trust and do all these things for somebody because they want something in return. Eventually, when they gain enough trust, maybe they'll get some naked pictures or videos from that kid. Maybe they'll get some money from that adult. I see that all the time too. People groom adults and stuff like that and get money from them.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll groom them so eventually it could be like, hey, we've been talking for 4 months. I love you, you love me, like you're my soulmate. I think we should meet up in person, right? And so then they agree to go meet at a park. And what that 14-year-old girl doesn't know, there's a car full of guys ready to snatch her up and sell her into sex slavery. It happens. So yeah, so that's one of the things that I teach the kids about, the grooming and stuff like that. Watch out for signs. I tell them, like, listen, if you're a 14-year-old girl and you're talking to a 25-year-old man, that is not your soulmate. That's a pedophile, and you need to report him.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you're going through in life, your parents are getting divorced, you're not getting good grades in school, stuff like that. You need to protect yourself. I get it. Sometimes people get vulnerable and they get sad and depressed in life, and they're just kind of searching for someone to give them a specific type of attention, make them feel good about themselves. But you need to really recognize when people are sincere or if people are trying to manipulate you. And that doesn't just go for kids. That goes for adults as well because it happens all the time. It happens to everybody.
Right. Randomly send somebody, send, like you said last time, they send them a pic or something, and then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, like, unless you want this blasted on the internet, do this or send me some money or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it is. And it's just, dude, people out there, like, the fact that there's people out there willing to fucking make money off that shit makes me like want to be the guys that go in before you with the gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make a fucking move, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Like, but I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Yeah.
because you would rather see them guys go to prison though, because they have special places in hell and prison for those guys.
Yeah. People ask me, especially when they find out about my background, like, dude, how do you go in there and not just like kill these guys? Like, well,
Because of the background, probably also the
yeah,
training and you got to keep that bearing upon you and
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You have to have your bearing and stuff, and you got to be professional. Yeah. Of course, I hate what these guys are doing, but you got to be professional about it because
right. If you
if,
really want to
if
fuck them up, you got to do it right.
yeah, so like you take me, like I've had all this training and 9 years of experience doing this. If I go into a guy's house, pedophile guy's house, even a hands-on guy, every now and then we'll get the hands-on offenders. Like we go to somebody's house because they were uploading or downloading child pornography. Well, it turns out he's been molesting his 4-year-old stepdaughter, and he's got pictures and videos on his phone. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you definitely don't like that. But if I go in there and I kill that guy, well, now I'm going to be in prison.
Yeah.
I lose my job. So now the cause has one less person to do this job.
Right.
So
One less rock
even if
star.
even if I was that type of guy to go out there and just kind of flip that switch and take somebody out, like I don't want to do that because so much progress is going to get lost. So by me being
Yes.
there, by holding our composure and stuff like that and doing what's right, we can continue on with this fight. And there's been cases that I know of where guys have gotten let off because an agent was a little bit too aggressive, like in an interview and stuff. So we have to be really, really careful, really careful.
That's crazy. A lot of red tape or
A
what?
lot of
Yeah.
red tape, a lot of
Yeah.
red tape. Yeah.
Gotta check all the boxes, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, I mean,
America is not one of those podunk countries where like you take them out behind a shed or something, and yeah,
right. And you just give him a quick counseling session,
yeah,
send him back on his way, or don't,
yeah.
whatever.
Hey, go dig your own hole.
Yeah. But so like whenever you go, like, do you still do the things in the schools, or do you still like
I do.
like whenever you like, do you go to new schools and approach them with the thing and try to like say, hey, or do you normally just get referred? And how receptive is like that first conversation of, like you said, like we're trying to be proactive about it because not everybody thinks that way. And I think that might be a military thing, but it's also not very common in the military as well. First, people would be proactive about situations because people as a whole or in general are very reactive. So like, I want to say, like, how receptive are school officials and stuff, like, one, I guess, to having that conversation brought to them, and let alone like, I mean, it's a sensitive subject, right? So like, do they want to expose the kids to that, or like say like, I want to educate the kids about that? You know what I mean?
Well, when I first started, I was going out there and I was approaching schools myself, and I was getting shot down left and right. People were like, "Ah, nah, that's okay. We're good. We're good." I was like, "All right, man, cool."
Right.
But then eventually, some people reached out because I let everybody know what I do. It is no secret what I do. I talk about it all the time because I want to be somebody's lifeline. I want somebody to know that they have a guy that they can turn to when stuff goes wrong like that. So I always put it out there who I am and what I do. And so eventually, the right person called me about their school. I went in, I gave my presentations, and then word spread like wildfire. So next thing you know, I'm not calling anybody, but I have all these people sending me emails or sending me text messages, calling me up. Hey, I'm the principal at this place. I'm the guidance counselor at this place. Can you come talk to my school? And so there was a few months where God, I think in like a few months, I probably gave like 15 or 16 presentations, so
And it's
to,
all there in
to
the
thousands,
Reno area.
yeah, to thousands of people. Yeah.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
so I'll drive up to maybe like an hour, hour and a half to go to schools. Anything further than that, I could reach out to another office because we have offices in most major cities. So I'll reach out to somebody at the offices and stuff and have them go out there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I started
Sure.
going all over the place,
I'm
and
getting into
then
schools here. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know if they have had any training or anything like that. It's small towns, but I mean, it's
yeah.
important, I think.
And the thing is, not a lot of people do it because, and it's I don't want to fault them for it, but a lot of agents, like a lot of special agents, they don't want to go do that stuff because it doesn't count for their numbers. It doesn't count for like their case numbers and their arrest numbers and stuff like that. So they don't want to take time away from that. Me, bro, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Numbers mean nothing to me.
Right. Because when
Numbers
you're in
mean
it for the
nothing.
job itself, not the numbers, you know.
Exactly. It's like some people are in it for strictly the money. Some people are in it for the cause. If I was chasing the money, now I do get paid very well, but if I was chasing the money, I would have I would have taken some other job, some other
Right.
route that a former Green Beret can go and make a
Yeah, and
whole
probably
bunch
not
of
have
money real quick.
dealt with the backlash of what you have to see and deal with on a day.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right. Like
yeah,
you're not gonna
yeah.
be like,
I would
oh
have went
yeah,
for that. Yeah, but to me, the cause will always outweigh the money.
and that's fucking
That's what
awesome.
I'm about. And I'm not trying to blow smoke or be cheesy or anything like that. But that
Right.
is that's who I am, brother. Like
Dude, I think I
it.
had the same conversation at work the other day. I mean, I started working at a bar, so I work at a bar. I'm a cook. It's basically just like I'm not just cooking bar food in my mind. Like I'm trying, like I judge myself by every plate or every basket that goes out the window, even if it's a cheeseburger. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can be there to make the money. Like I don't make any money. I'll tell you that right now. I make fucking like I got 10, 12 years experience. I know this place didn't have the money. I'm like, sure, dude, I'll take $15 an hour plus tips as a cook. Whatever. I'm only working, 20 hours a week, but I mean, it's just because I enjoy it, you know. And then I
Yeah,
know it's
yeah.
different. It's not chasing pedos, but it's passion.
It's passion, man. Yeah, yeah. It's what you're passionate about, man. And that's the big thing. That's the big thing. You got to do what you love, and or do what the do what's right for the cause. What you feel good about.
Yeah, and then,
So
well, I guess we'll just go since we brought up passion, dude. We'll just go right into the next little segment here, dude. And let's talk about the actor director, the passionate side of
yeah,
one of the things you do to kind of ease that stress and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. So I
We
started.
talked a little about it last episode, but probably not a whole lot.
Yeah, I got into acting. A little over 3 years, about 3.5 years ago or so, something like that. Uh, my body was breaking down, so I couldn't go on all these hikes anymore, causing me too much pain. So I was like, well, let me try acting, because while I do love what I do, has a great purpose. I've always felt like talent has been wasted. Like I was wasting talent. Like I feel like I'm not trying to sound egotistical or anything, but I feel like I have some talents that I can't express sitting behind a computer. So I wanted to go out there and see what I can do. So I got into acting. I started working on stage, some local plays and stuff like that, and I freaking loved it. I loved it. But after my third play, I realized it takes up a lot of time, man, because you got to go for. I was doing. It was basically taking up like 4 hours of my time 3 times a week to go do this acting on stage thing. So I was like, all right, let me try this movies thing. Let me try to work in movies. And then so I saw some open auditions. I went, I nailed one of the auditions, and I got casted as a mercenary. So go figure. I'm kind of
Right.
doing what I did in real life, just
You're
running
like, all
and
right,
gunning.
I can do that.
Yeah, let me go run and gun in this movie because easy stuff. And me and the director of the movie, it's called The Flock. Me and the director, Dylan Brown of Horner Productions, we just hit it off big time. And he liked working with me so much because I was so different from the other folks that he was working with on set. He asked me if I wanted to be part of a movie called Tahoe Joe. And he had a little passion project that he wanted to do and asked me if I wanted to be part of Tahoe Joe. So I jumped in with him on Tahoe Joe and he asked me to co-direct, and that movie just it blew up on Tubi.
It was a pretty
So
cool movie.
yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
really
so
enjoyed it. Like I was watching it, like, dude, I really enjoyed, like what I talked about with you was the dude that played the crazy redneck guy was probably my favorite. And like you said, that he like really
yeah.
dove into it. Like, dude, he did a good job.
Oh man, yeah, Shane.
Motherfucker was
Love that
right
dude.
the whole time. It was them.
Yeah,
Wow, dude,
dude.
it was a good ending. It was a
Yeah,
good movie.
Shane is a great friend of mine, man. I love that. I love that dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's been a whirlwind since then, man. Just one role after another, and but the thing is, I'm having such a good time doing my thing in Reno with Dylan that at one point I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Hollywood and fly out there and go to auditions and stuff like that. But bro, I am having such a good time out here. Like it makes me so happy because when Dylan and I make movies, we have a blast on set. We just have an absolute blast. And again, this is just something. This is a hobby, man. This is a side quest. So if it all works out and we make a bunch of money from it, cool, bonus.
right,
But if we don't, cool. I still
right.
love doing it. And so because of that, we worked with other people, other filmmakers and stuff like that, and uh, talent agencies and everything. And we just don't like it, bro. We don't like it. So when Dylan and I make movies together, who are we casting? We're casting friends. We're casting family. And that is absolutely one of the best parts of this whole acting journey for me is I have a lot of say in what goes on in certain movies, and I also do my own movie. I started making my own stuff as well, and so I get to bring in people that I love and appreciate into these movies, and I get to see their faces light up when they see themselves on screen and stuff, and they get to tell other people, "Oh yeah, I'm in this movie and it has a worldwide release and all that sort of stuff," and it's amazing. It's
Yeah, it
amazing.
is.
I this past weekend I was in a film festival, the
Yeah,
Carson Creepy short horror film competition. So basically, we had 2 weeks to make a movie, and they had to have three prompts. So there had to be a car horn. It had to be the line of dialogue. The line of dialogue was, "You're the only one who can do this," and there had to be a thermometer. And that's to ensure that somebody hadn't been working on this movie for like 2 years, and then they submit it, for this 2 week competition, and it's
that's
like
fucking cool.
Michael Bay stuff or something.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
and
this is
yeah,
me. I did this in 2 weeks. No, the fuck you didn't,
yeah,
dude.
yeah. So me and my girlfriend's youngest daughter, her name is Willow. Her and I are really close. Love that girl to death. And she looks at me like a father figure and everything like that. And so when I saw that this competition was going to be a thing, I had an idea for a movie, and I asked Willow about it, and she was like, "Yeah, cool." And so she was so excited to do it, and so we filmed this movie called My Willow, and so I got to take her. She's in her very first movie, and I got to take her to the premiere of this film festival. And when we walked through the doors, the head people of the film festival, they knew exactly who she was. Made her feel like just an absolute star,
That's awesome.
and it was amazing. And so we got to see the movie being screened for the first time for everybody, and the reactions the crowd gave were absolutely amazing. There was some laughter, there was some like, "Oh wow, that's creepy," there was some like, "Holy crap, that's scary." And at the end of the night, when they said, "Now the award for the best bad guy goes to Willow in My Willow." And so I got to walk that little girl down and bring her up on stage, and she accepted her award. And it was such an amazing moment. It got me right in the feels, man. Got
Oh
me right
yeah,
in the
you're
feels.
like
Yeah.
this is exactly why the fuck I do this.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's so amazing. And so I made our little posters, and we all autographed the posters. So she has her movie poster with her on it, sitting in her room on a wall. And then I got an email last night from the president. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. There was so much stuff going on. I didn't realize this, but My Willow actually won Audience Choice Award. So after all the movies, the audience got to choose. They scanned the code and they got to pick which movie out of the 19 movies that got shown were their favorite.
19 movies, dude,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they picked yours. That's fucking
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
How'd that
yeah.
make her feel? Did you tell her yet?
So her mom did, right? Because I found that at night last night. I wasn't over her mom's house. I wasn't over her house. Well, I went and visited them today, and as soon as I walked through the door, she's like, "Mike, did you know that we won another award?" I was like, "Yes, I do, baby. we got
Yeah.
we got the audience choice." I was like, out of all those movies, like they picked ours. And then we listened to there was a podcast today about the award ceremony or the film festival, and the only movie that got talked about was My Willow.
Dude, that's fucking badass.
Yeah, yeah. So if you guys want to watch it, you can look me up on YouTube. It's Michael Rock 1079 on YouTube, and I put My Willow on there. Actually, I put an extended cut, so I added a minute. So these horror movies, they had to be between 5 to 9 minutes. So the cut that I put on there is an extra. There's an extra minute of footage. So
Sick.
yeah, yeah.
I'll share it before I go to bed. I'll share it on our Veteran Chat Project
Nice,
Facebook
man.
page.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that was,
hell yeah.
and bro. So some of these movies, people spent a week, 2 weeks making them, multiple days on set, lots of money, lots of expensive equipment. Bro, I spent $100. I took me, the little girl, my girlfriend, my youngest son, and my iPhone. And we filmed for 4 hours. I spent maybe 5 hours editing everything together. Done. Viewer's choice.
Passion.
you know,
That's that
passion,
passion,
man.
dude.
Passion. Yeah, because the way I
The
think about
passion
everything.
ain't
It's
in all
like,
the expensive shit. And you know what? Like you would probably never have as much fun doing it in Hollywood.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they would take all that passion and joy right out of it.
yeah,
Because they would want to cast somebody as your as Willow. It would, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't let you just be like, I'm gonna make this however the fuck I want to do it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and
And that's how I like doing it, man. We make it however the hell we want to do it. Me and Dylan, we'll cast our friends and family, and he has an idea, I have ideas, we mesh together, and him and I, we think a lot alike. So a lot of times, like when we make movies, we'll be thinking generally the same idea. So we're about to start filming a movie called Tahoe Joe 2, which you, my friend, have a role in.
hey,
So
I
you're
wasn't
gonna
gonna say nothing, but what's up?
no, put it out there, bro. Put it out there.
Yeah.
You got your big movie break, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, that's fucking awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
I'm
gonna be great,
excited.
man.
My
Yeah.
little
So
10 seconds.
after this podcast, we're gonna film our scene.
Fuck yeah,
So I'm
dude.
excited for you, man. Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, bro. That's the thing. You cast friends and family, people that I generally like in life, that I want to see them on the screen, and I see the look on their faces, and gives them sparks new life into them. So
Yeah, I mean, for
so I'm
sure. I know
happy
when
you
you
agreed to be on it, man.
brought it, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I have you being on there. Um, I have this dude Smitty from Smitty's Beard Sauce. He's another veteran. Um, he's out of the Fort Campbell, Kentucky area.
I'll
Awesome
have to hit
guy.
him up.
Yeah, bro, his sauce is great too. His sauce is amazing. Yeah, so he's going to be on there as well.
Sick.
So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. And the stuff we have planned for Tahoe Joe too, it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild ride, man. And I am so freaking pumped for this because Tahoe
You need
Joe
somebody,
won.
you need someone to fly out on that last day just to help you on the hunt, dude. You let me
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I'm not, dude, I'm not kidding. I already told my
yeah,
wife, like, hey, if I got to go to Reno and I'm gonna be in a movie, I'm gonna pay for it. We're going.
yeah,
She's like, I don't care. You go as long as the baby. We were having a baby Christmas Eve, so
yeah. A
she
short bus pulls up with all these veterans getting out with guns, going to hunt Bigfoot.
right.
Let's do
Like,
it.
are you
Let's do
guys seriously going to hunt Bigfoot? Like, no, not really, but yeah, we're gonna get his ass because
it.
yeah, or
Yeah,
whatever's out there.
yeah. So we are so pumped, man. We're so pumped. My cousin, he's an Air Force vet. He's coming out. Um, Actually, he was in Tahoe Joe 1. He was the guy that got killed in the tent.
Okay,
I don't know if you
so like
remember the part.
the guy that you're going after.
Yeah, yeah, the guy that we were trying to go find.
Yeah.
That's actually my real life cousin, and
Yeah,
he
I
lives
figured
in
he was at least someone close to. I figured it was just someone you had served with or something like that.
yeah, yeah, he lives in D.C. So he flew out here
Nice.
for that. And
Was that his son too?
no, no, that was
Yeah.
actually my son's best friend.
And then the throat thing is
The
a real
throat thing,
thing.
yeah, the throat thing is legit. Yeah, he had vocal cord paralysis, and so
Damn.
he said he wanted to be in a movie, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And I was like, hey, man, how do you feel about actually using your vocal cord paralysis like in the movie, like
Right.
as part
To
of a
shine a
plot
little
point,
light
as part of a
on
plot
what
point?
it is.
And he was all for it, and I was like, cool, because and that was a big thing right there. How many people have you seen in movies with actual legit vocal cord paralysis that have thing in their throat and stuff like that?
Right.
You don't. You haven't. So that was big for me too, just representation and stuff like that. Getting folks that normally wouldn't have movie roles, putting them in a movie. Why not, man? Why not? This
He
stuff's
killed
supposed to
it.
be fun. Like this is all fun for me. If it's not fun, if it's a movie maker, a filmmaker that doesn't like to have a good time and stuff like that, I don't want to work with them. If it's somebody who's like way too freaking serious on set and brings drama, I don't want to work with them. But if you're cool, like I don't care how good of an actor you are, if you're a douchebag, I'm not going to put you in one of my movies.
Right. You just don't want to hang out with you.
I don't want to hang out. Yeah, yeah. I want to cast people that actually want to hang out with. You know, and that's how we roll. Dylan and I, we decided to do that, and we've been loving it ever since. We
Fuck
found
yeah.
we found a formula that works. Um, a movie that we made together, it's called Ghost. That's on Tubi as well. If you search Ghost Michael Rock, you'll find it on Tubi. Um, Dylan submitted that to a film festival, and Ghost got nominated for 13 awards and it ended up winning 6. And there was I think there was something like 20 films involved in this film festival. Ghost won Best Film, Best Cinematography, Best Director, I think Best Editing. It won Best Supporting Actor. Vernon Wells won Best Supporting Actor. Vernon Wells, if anybody doesn't know him, he was the main bad guy in Commando fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then he also fought Mel Gibson in Mad Max 2. So he plays my dad in the movie. And
Nice.
so, yeah, so he won Best Supporting Actor, and then I won Best Actor in a feature film. So,
Fuck yeah.
yeah, so I was like, all right, cool. Not too shabby just for some old dude that just wants to do this as a hobby and have fun.
Right.
So,
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, the only class I really enjoyed in high school was drama.
yeah.
Still didn't do the homework, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I definitely consider myself a shitty actor, but I go out there and have fun.
And I think, I
That's,
mean,
that's the
this
big
is
thing,
just
man. That's
bringing
the
that
big thing.
authenticity to it, and it's like we were talking about me trying to do with this, dude. It's just when you're bringing yourself and everything you got and everything you have to offer to something, people pick up on that shit, man, and they either want to be a part of it or they want to support it in any way they can, and either that or they want to be a hater, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's fine too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You get some haters, man, for sure. You get some haters. There's some haters around here.
of
Absolutely.
course,
Because they're like, dude, what the hell?
fucking making movies and shit.
Yeah, these guys are like freaking like their movies are like blowing up all over the place. And how come I don't get casted in roles? And what the hell's going on? How come you're not going through the talent agency? Is like, why? Because we don't want to. Because we do what we want.
You don't want actors in your movies. You want people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a big thing. So one of the movies that we were on together, the movie that Dylan first met me on, The Flock, there was a bunch of folks from like talent agencies and stuff like that, and Dylan saw right away they were not like me. They were not like me. A lot of people would always, no matter what time you told them, no matter what time you told them, oh, I'm going to be late. So they were always late, or they didn't want to get dirty, or they were too cold, they were too hot. It's like, dude, come on, man.
Right. Like we
For
just gotta get.
example, to film the opening scene of Ghost, I put everybody in my car, everyone that was going to go there that day. I put everybody in my car, drove through a snowstorm on the highway. We had to drive 20 miles an hour on the highway because of a snowstorm. We parked, and because it's me, I had to blaze the trail to where we were going. Well, it was about 3.5 feet of snow. So I had to walk. I had to walk through 3.5 feet of snow. And this was a week and a half after an emergency appendectomy. So I just had my appendix ripped out of me. I still have freaking wounds that need to heal. I'm like, I was in rough shape. But I'm like,
Right.
the damn scene needs to get made. So this is our location. We have to do this to make that, did that sacrifice. And
That's crazy.
the
That's not
people
easy to
that
walk through
and,
that
and
much
the
snow.
people that we picked to be in that scene, they were totally gung ho. Totally gung. And I knew they would be. And I knew they would be. These people, they weren't with like talent agencies and stuff like that. They were friends of mine. Hey, come on, let's go. One of them
Yeah.
was my youngest son. So he almost got frostbite out there. But but then when you see the opening scene, people are like, "Wow, that was freaking cool."
Worth it.
So it's worth it. It's worth it.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. I think, like I said, we try to keep them to. We went over my limit, but no, I'm just kidding. This was this is fucking dope to have you back on, dude. I'm definitely gonna want to talk to you more and more. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna just try to get as I'm all about the quantity or the quality these days of these shows, and I just want good quality content. I think having
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
on every once in a while, even just to talk about that, just preaching awareness for you know that internet bullshit, man, and the human trafficking, the kid trafficking, all that shit, dude. I think it's just to keep the awareness out there would be enough. Plus,
Yeah.
I mean, you're cool as fuck to talk to,
Thanks,
and
man.
I'm sure you know, like I said, we're gonna sign off here and record a movie. We're going to Hollywood after this, folks.
That's right. That's right.
So, Alder brother, I like I said, I knew he was watching the whole time. He loved it. My man, we appreciate you. I'm good to see you again. We're gonna have to
Skip.
get you here soon to talk to James. Definitely check in on you. But for those who will listen, for those who will watch, thank you so much. For those who have watched and are watching, thank you and good night. Got anything for him?
Find your balance in life. Keep on going. The world is better with you in it.
Fuck yeah. And that is a good way to end it.